guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again. So today I'm going to make something that is just absolutely sinfully delicious. I'm going to be making a poblano macaroni and cheese. And so as we all know, macaroni and cheese is one of those things that's so delicious, so comforting. Add poblanos to it and it's just that much better. So if you guys like my videos, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel and please share the videos with other people. If you guys make the recipes, please let me know how you like them because I'm really curious to see what you guys think. So thank you so much. All right, so for this recipe, we're going to be using 1 pound of elbow macaroni, 4 poblano peppers. You're going to want to put these under your broiler and char them so we can remove the skin. Half a cup of butter, half a cup of flour, 1.5 cups of whole milk, 2.5 cups half and half, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic pepper, 1/2 teaspoon paprika, 1/2 teaspoon black pepper, and 1/8 teaspoon cayenne pepper, 2 cups of mozzarella cheese, 2 cups of Monterey Jack, and 2 cups of cheddar. We're going to start out by just mixing up all of the cheeses. So you just want to put these into a bowl, and then you just want to toss them together to combine. We're going to be separating the cheese into 3 parts, so I'm going to put some in the sauce, some in the middle, and some on the top. Make sure your hands are clean and then just slightly toss the cheese to blend it up. You guys can use any combination of cheese, but for this recipe, this combination worked out perfectly. And I also grated the cheese fresh. So here are our poblanos after they came out of the oven. We're just going to put those into a bag. Any plastic bag will work. I like to use a Walmart bag or a grocery bag. And then we're just going to close this bag up, and what this is going to do is it's going to allow the peppers to steam, and then it's going to help to release the skin from the flesh. So just let that sit for about 15 minutes. I have my 1 stick of butter, and I'm just going to add in the flour. This process is called making a roux. What this is going to do is this is going to thicken our sauce. So you just want to keep whisking during this whole process of making the cheese sauce, and whisk until all the lumps are gone. And you want the roux to turn into a nice golden color. The heat may be a little high on this, but it actually worked out fine. So I'm just going to keep whisking. Don't let it sit or it will burn. You want to keep this moving the whole time you're making the sauce. I'm just going to add in 1 cup of milk just to get the roux combined into the milk. As you can see, it is kind of lumping up. That's okay. I'm just going to keep whisking it and it's going to get nice and smooth. You can see it's very thick, and we're just going to add in the rest of the milk. And this is a bechamel sauce, so this is just a basic white cream sauce. You can use this base for a lot of different things. You could make an Alfredo, any type of cheese sauce, really anything that calls for a creamy textured sauce. And then I'm going to add in all 2.5 cups of half and half. Make sure your heat is on a medium here. You don't want to boil this, but you do want it to heat up. And I'm going to add in all of our spices. If you guys don't want this to be spicy, just keep out the cayenne pepper. And just mix that until combined. Make sure you get everything off of the edges of the pan. And we're just going to go ahead and add in our cheese. You can see the sauce has thickened up a little bit. And I'm just going to add this in slowly. So you want to put in a handful, whisk it in, let it melt down. And I'm going to be adding, I would say, about 3 to 3.5 cups into the sauce itself. This is kind of your prerogative how much you want to add in to the sauce, just as long as all the cheese gets into the macaroni eventually. Keep whisking, and I'm going to add a little bit more into here. I misjudged the amounts there. At this point, you can turn the sauce off and just wait for the cheese to melt. And you can see it's nice and thick, and this is the perfect consistency. This is exactly what you want to see, and you can see how nice and cheesy that is. Looks absolutely beautiful. And we're going to go ahead, and I already boiled my noodles. You want to boil them al dente so they're not completely done, because otherwise they will overcook, but you want them to get pretty much almost all the way done. And then I'm just going to pour the sauce into the noodles. You can see how cheesy and yummy that looks. And just slightly fold this just to combine it. If you guys didn't want to add the poblanos, you could just go ahead and move forward with adding the macaroni and cheese to the baking dish. I'm going to put in half the macaroni and then put a layer of cheese in the middle, and then put the other half of the macaroni and then just put a little bit of cheese on the top. So we are going to add the poblanos, so you just want to open up the bag. They should be nice and cooled off by now, and you can see they look perfect. Poblano peppers are not that spicy, and so that's why I added the cayenne, just to give it a little bit of a spice. And to get the skins off of these, you just want to, the skin is very delicate, so it doesn't peel off as easily as other peppers, so you just want to scrape it with the back of your knife, or you could get a paper towel or a napkin and just rub it right off, and it should just come off pretty easily for you. You could leave the skins on too if you wanted to. They don't have the papery texture like the Anaheim, so it would be okay, but it will put black spots into your macaroni, which you probably don't want that. And then you do also want to cut the chilies open and take all of the seeds out and the stem. So I have all my chilies cleaned. I'm just going to stack them up, cut them into strips. And you could also use different kind of chilies here if you want. You could really use anything. Macaroni and cheese is one of those things that you could just kind of make it 1,000 different ways. I wanted to make it with the poblanos today because we are going to be using this in another video that I'm going to top it with birria de res, and this is a really good combination. Then you just want to go ahead and run your knife through the other way just to create small pieces. I find when you're cutting chilies, if you want to cut them in a big stack like this back and forth method works really well, because they are just really slimy and squishy and they like to move around a lot, so they can be kind of difficult to work with. And they're looking beautiful. And I'm just going to chop at them just a little bit more just to make sure that all the pieces are nice and small. You guys can chop these as small as you want to. I do want the pieces to be a good size, so I'm not going to do too much, but the more you chop, the smaller the pieces will get. And you just want to grab your macaroni. And I'm just going to fold the chilies right into our macaroni. You guys could add these in the middle if you wanted to, if you didn't want to stir them right into the sauce, but this way works really good. So, and then you just want to fold the chilies into the macaroni and cheese. Get it nice and combined. Looks super cheesy and super delicious already. I could probably just eat it right now. And then we're gonna bake this. I just lightly sprayed my pan with some cooking spray, and I'm just gonna add half of the macaroni in, spread it down into an even layer. And then I'm gonna sprinkle in probably about, I'd say, 1.5 to 2 cups of cheese in the middle. You can measure this if you want it to be exact, but cooking is an art, not a science. And so you can kind of just make it your own and do it your own way, however you want to do this, as long as you keep the concept the same. You could add any cheese you want in here. You could use any noodle type really, and you could also add anything else, or just keep it just with the macaroni and cheese. Keep it nice and basic. And then I'm just going to put the rest of that macaroni and cheese on the top and spread it out nice and evenly. I put most of my cheese inside the dish because I didn't want to have a thick layer of cheese on the top. And so I'm just going to sprinkle very lightly a layer of cheese on top. And this is I'm probably putting about 1/2 cup, I would say. So 3 cups in the sauce to 3.5 cups, 2 cups in the middle, and then 1/2 cup on the top. And it's all ready to go in the oven. We're going to bake this for about 25 minutes, and then I am going to broil the top of it so you can see that it has kind of browned on top. This part you want to do very carefully. You want to watch it. You can see it's nice and bubbly. Alright, you guys, so I just finished making my Poblano Mac N Cheese here. I'm just going to taste a tiny little bit because I'm actually having company over tonight. I'm doing kind of like a 2-part video thing going on today because I made this mac and cheese to use it in one of my other videos. Birria de res, 4 ways, and one of the ways is going to be topped on top of mac and cheese. So I'm gonna just have this little tiny bit, but I'm telling you, with that meat, it's gonna be amazing. That's really, really good. So cheesy. The poblanos give it a nice flavor. I put a little cayenne in it, so it has a little bit of spice to it too. You know, you guys, this is a great mac and cheese recipe without the poblanos. If you guys don't want that or don't want it to be spicy at all, just don't add the cayenne. The cheese turned out amazing. So good. I love mac and cheese because there's so many different ways that you can make it, and it's just so decadent, and it's just so good. It's just so comforting. And ooh, I got a big pepper. So tasty. That's so good. This would be really good with some like bacon in it too, or maybe like some chorizo, or not really anything. Mac and cheese, I mean, what? It's so good. It's so good. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. I hope you try it. It's amazing. Give me some thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. And thank you guys so much. And you all have a wonderful, beautiful day. Much love.